resume record. Yeah, okay, I'll resume the recording. Now, I do need to optimize the video clips. There we go. Hopefully this will work. I've lost seeing all you guys, but that's all right. So here we go.
My name's Gary Schuller, founder of the Business Marketplace Global. What is it? Great question. The Business Marketplace Global is the greatest connector on the planet. Our role is to ensure that we connect people in business to people in business to do more business. A call to action will be call us today, and we'll have a few minutes to discuss how we may be the best serve, support, and value add for you. Remember, business is all about who you know, not necessarily what you know. Get connected today.
That's Gary, our lawyer, Joyce Koo.
My name's Peter Losley, Managing Director of Virtual IT Managed Services. I've worked in IT for over 30 years, and in that time, I've been involved in every aspect of technology, from systems integrator to security specialist and business management. Today's business owners rely on technology. Therefore, having a breach or a loss of data can be devastating. Everybody receives spam and junk mail, but are you aware that is also how you can be hacked? We offer advice and a common sense approach to maintaining and securing systems. So if you are concerned about your technology or cybersecurity, you can request a free consult by going to vitms.com.au and clicking on the book now for a no obligation discussion. You can also obtain our free weekly cyber tech tips by going to vitms.com.au/weekly tips. I highly recommend you sign up today for our free consult, or at least sign up for the free tech tips.
Thank you, Peter. Sorry, that's my IT bloke, Joyce Koo.
Good afternoon, everyone. I just want to introduce myself. My name is Joyce Koo, and I'm the founder and principal of JK Lawyers. We have a team of 10, 12 people, and we're here to serve the community. We're here to help. We do all kinds of legal matters. I think if I do a count, maybe 50 different types of matters that we can help you with. It'll be our privilege to serve you and to look after all your legal issues. How we actually do it? Well, we take some time to listen to your problems, and we work it out. We apply the law, and then we solve your problems. Okay, so I just want you to be very comfortable. Give us a call or send me an email, jklawyers.com.au or joyce@jklawyers.com.au. I look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you, Joyce. I won't play Pete again, and I don't need to play. I don't need to play Kevin because Kevin's here, and I will give Kevin a chance to speak shortly. I couldn't find the video for Tim Allen, but Tim Allen from Insurance Advisor Net, Southeastern out at Mary Warren, he does all things insurance. He doesn't do personal insurance, it's all business insurance. It's certainly worth giving him a contact if you need insurance. You can drop me an email at inquiry@thecashclub.com.au and I can forward his contact details. I should have a video up next time. We also have Darren Haycraft. Darren, would you like to give me a little bit of a rundown on what you do?
Yep, no worries. Thanks, Rohan. So I work for our own LMP Accountants in Croydon. We work with our clients to be their trusted advisor by asking lots of questions, helping them work through and reach their goals. So, like as an example, I was working with a client this afternoon that has tried numerous times to sell their business, but the previous accountant didn't listen to issues of the purchasers or potential purchasers that were internal employees. So I sat down with them for half an hour this afternoon, understood their issues, and we've come up with a plan all in one afternoon. So sometimes it's just asking the right questions and listening to the answers. So yeah, during COVID, it's been interesting with some businesses doing really well and some struggling, like listening to Christine before about property and issues with materials. Yeah, it's just asking the right questions and helping people out. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Darren. Yeah, Darren's my accountant, and certainly I always recommend that any business owner has a good accountant and a good advisory accountant along with their tax. So Darren looks at all things, and really can't highly recommend him enough. Wazif Design is my graphic designer. Sorry, brand strategist. Wazif, talk to us.
I'm trying to change that name now. Not many people understand that, but yeah, look, no, it's look. My name is Vasif, and I run a graphic design studio, and I'm passionate to help businesses to create by creating the target appropriate graphic design solutions. And basically, I specialize in logo design, business cards, brochures. Packaging design is one of my main areas of expertise, where I help customers from dairy manufacturing to these Pakistani and Indian ethnic food manufacturers, and I help them with their branding on their packaging. I also help with signage design and website branding as well. So look, I am offering a 45 minutes free consultation to anyone who requires advice on their, let's say, current branding or their logo, or if they are looking to refreshing their branding. So my name is Vasif from Vasif Design. Thank you.
Thank you, Wazif. Yeah, Kevin. Kevin, financial planner. So speak to us, Kevin.
Good evening, all. My name is Kevin from To Plan for Future Wealth. I'm a financial advisor, and we do things slightly bit differently. We obviously address our clients' aptitudes in terms of how their behaviors towards money. Then we always try and identify their goals or what they want to achieve in terms of financial independence. And then we provide, clarity, coaching, accountability, and structure, enabling them to take control of their financial future. And in essence, we want to create a life by design rather than default. So majority of our clients tend to be in the pre-retirement age, and also some in the post-retirement age as well. So that's a key target market for us.
Very good. Thank you, Kevin. David Campbell is our business performance coach. Unfortunately, David wasn't able to make it tonight, and I don't have a video for him yet either, although I would certainly play it. But you can always check out his website, davidcampbell.com.au. We also have a virtual CFO who will be coming on board hopefully within the next month. We were looking at having it early next month, so I have to speak to him again. Alison Gardner, who is our bookkeeper, unfortunately, she messaged me at about 6:05 tonight. She had her vaccine, her first round of vaccine done today, and isn't feeling terribly well. So again, all things bookkeeping. She comes from Carbon Group, and Carbon are Australia wide, but certainly somebody who has a really good handle on all things bookkeeping on all different platforms and that sort of thing. So she's well worth having a chat to. Christine Williams is our property investment person from Smarter Property Investing, and first time she's been able to attend one of our sessions. Christine, a 1-minute pitch. You certainly know how that works.
And so, hi everyone. Yes, my name is Christine. What do? I help you invest wisely in property. I not only talk the talk, I walk the walk, because I do it myself. And I find areas around Australia that's going to have the best capital growth and return on investment. There is no such thing as a perfect property, perfect return on investment. It's all about understanding the numbers, cash flow, and the reason why you're investing. I work backwards from why you want to invest in property. We take that goal and we work backwards. And then together with one of the books that I've written, over 284 pages, is the strategy of a 10-year commitment. So if you have any questions around investing in property, whether or not that be new or established, I have got legislation down pat right around Australia, because every state is different. I offer a 30-minute complimentary call to see what fears, concerns, and or what you're after in investing in property. Thank you, Rowan. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Christine. And our digital marketer, Anthony Gardner. Again, unfortunately, Anthony wasn't able to make it tonight from Sam SME. He certainly does all things digital marketing and able to help you with your CRM and that sort of thing. So, so that's our partners, and we rely heavily on our partners to be able to bring value to you, the members. Now, I'll just stop share for a minute, and the reason being is I'm going to put up another presentation for what I'm doing. So tonight, I was going to talk to you about how having business finance can help your business grow. It's interesting. I was just having a look at the comments about the sorts of hats that people wear, and that they don't like. And there's a few around cash flow and about the sorts of things that we teach in the Cash Club. So I think you'll get value out of what we bring when it comes to the ultimate cash flow formula and whatever else. So, but tonight I'm going to talk really quickly about how business finance can help you grow. I'm probably going to rely a little bit too heavily on the slides, but that's right. It hopefully won't be death by PowerPoint for you. But what we're going to discuss is common forms of business finance that you should know about, how business finance can free you and your mission, and where do you go to find reliable business finance. Probably going to be a little bit of a shameless plug for me, but that's okay. There's an extensive range of lending products that are available to business owners. And certainly a discussion with your accountant could very well know about it. I know Darren knows about it, but other people have accountants that may or may not be aware of it. So it's always handy to find out. You can't. I wouldn't recommend going to a bank to find out about it, because they don't give you a choice. They only give you what they can tell you, and quite often they may even tell you can't afford it just having a look at your numbers, because they don't know everything that's available out there. So it's always worth speaking to a broker. So the different sorts of finance, though, are invoice financing and trade finance, and I'll explain these in a bit. Overdraft, we've certainly all heard of overdrafts or credit cards. And then there's asset finance, property finance, vehicle finance, plant and equipment. So there's a whole lot of different finances available to business owners. I've identified 5, I think, 5 or 6 that you can access at any time, provided you hit the criteria that's required. Did you know with a minimum of $6,000, if you have a minimum of $6,000 turnover per month, you could get a $15,000 loan from a finance company for business finance. The first one we're going to talk about is cash flow lending. This is my space, I suppose, although I do all things cash flow or all things commercial. But it's certainly something I've learned a lot about, and a space I've been playing a lot in the last few years. And this sort of finance can be quite valuable. I was speaking to actually a lender a few years ago, and he used to play at a major, and he was in the commercial finance space as a mate in the majors, and he wouldn't look at a business loan below $1 million. He went on leave and ended up buying himself a business, a gym, in fact, and suddenly realized how much $100,000 could help his business, or even less. And he went back to the major, and he was a different lender then, but then he also ended up leaving the major and ended up working for what they call a second tier lender or a third tier lender. So when I say invoice finance, I mean invoices sent out. As it says there, one size does not fit all when it comes to finance. The first sort is invoice financing. So just as an explanation, so when I talk about invoices, I talk about invoices that you send out. When I talk about bills, I mean the bills that come into you. So invoice or debtor finance is an unsecured business finance that is directly linked to your outstanding invoices. Now, this, depending on the lender, this can be, you can select which invoices you do through invoice financing, or it might be another company that will take your entire outstanding invoice book, your debtor book and work off your debtor book and give you effectively a floating facility to be able to cover off a lot of those. One of the good things about invoice financing, sorry, I'll just jump back. Invoice financing is where you can get paid up to 80% of the value of your invoice up front instead of waiting for your invoice to be paid in full. You can imagine a tradie, for example, who might work as an electrician, and I use electricians a lot as an example, or a plumber. They might contract to a builder who's building a house. Generally, those builders, the larger builders, certainly the larger builders, will pay you 30 days end of month, which means, or 45 days end of month, depending on the builder, and it, irrespective of what your own terms might be. So let's say, for argument's sake, Mr. Electrician gives his builder an invoice on the 1st of July. It's not going to get paid until the 31st of August. So that's 60 days that the builder, so the electrician has to wait for payment. He can get paid up to 80% of the value of his invoice overnight and have 80% of his invoice in his bank account tomorrow. And that's got to be worth a lot more than waiting, in this case, 60 days for 100% of the invoice. And it might cost you, so 60 days will cost you probably around about 6% of the value of your invoice. But the reality is that there's more value in having that 80% of the invoice in your bank account at the time. And you can get the remainder of the invoice less the costs when your client pays. Trade or supply chain invoice is another interesting one. Unsecured business finance that is directly linked to the bills, the bills that the business needs to pay. Again, we'll get back to the Sparky, and the Sparky has a trade account at Middies. So this particular job he's just done, he's walked into Middies, he's bought himself, let's say, $3,000 worth of materials for the job, and he puts that on account, and that's fine, that's okay. But in 30 days' time, Middies don't offer a 180-day facility. They offer a 30-day facility, a 30-day trade account. Some of you might have a 30-day, I certainly have a 30-day Officeworks account where it can take me, I can pay, buy anything and then pay for it 30 days later. But it's only 30 days. Once I get to the end of the 30 days, I have to pay the bill. So once the Sparky gets to the end of 30 days, he has to pay that Middies bill. But it's the $3,000 for the job he started, which he's not going to get paid until the end of July, at the end of August. He doesn't have the money in his account to pay it. So what does he do? Supply chain finance can, depending on the lender, you can get up to 180 days to pay that invoice. So let's work on $3,000 from materials. He might pay that through the supply chain supplier invoice facility, and let's say he has 180 days. It doesn't cost him $3,000 in 30 days. It costs him $500 a month for the next 6 months, plus the interest. So you can see how it can actually help him extend out his payment, his payments that are due, and not put stress on him when he has to pay it because he hasn't been paid by his contract. It can also work really well for overseas purchases. So I'll use a restaurant as an example. A restaurant will potentially have some sort of arrangement with, let's say an Italian restaurant has an arrangement with a winery over in Italy. And one day his supplier offers him a 10% discount to take a bulk amount of wine. Now it might be a pallet load and whatever else. Now he knows he'll turn it over, but he can't afford to buy a whole pallet in one hit. He might regularly buy half a pallet. He knows he can turn it over. With a supply, in this case, it's called a supply chain facility. He can actually pay for that invoice on the supply chain, or pay for that bill on the supply chain, probably receive some sort of discount because he's taken the bulk order, gets his payments in, and then over the next 3 months makes his, sells his wines, makes the profit that he can make. He's gotten a 10% discount anyway. So he's actually in front by putting this particular purchase on some sort of finance. So that's where supply chain finance can work as well. It works great when you want to take advantage of bulk purchase discounts or purchases from overseas suppliers. There's also unsecured business loans or unsecured term loans. And unsecured business finance can be deposited directly into your bank account. Again, I went back and said before that if you're turning over a minimum $6,000 a month, I can get you a $15,000 loan, provided you've been in business long enough and you register for GST. But it's for when your business needs cash to grow but doesn't have outstanding invoices to finance against. If you want to have some idea about how much you might be able to borrow in an unsecured facility, lenders are looking at around about 150% of your monthly turnover. And it is what they will call low doc. They can usually do that on just bank statements, 3 to 6 months bank statements, or possibly your GST statement. So it's low doc, 24 to 48 hours to get funded. This sort of finance can be very handy when you need the finance. And I'm not talking, it's not, you know, I won't sugarcoat or anything. It's not housing rates. But it's finance. Use an example. If a $10,000 loan is going to cost you a bit for 12 months, but the $10,000 will earn you $100,000 in 12 months time, was it worth the extra $2 grand or $2.5 grand it might have cost you to borrow it? So overall, and it's never a 12-month loan, it's usually a 6-month loan, so it's not that full amount. So I'll just put that out front as far as it goes when it comes to interest rates. Look, that sort of lending, that term loan can the sorts of business lending for that purpose can meet any business need, from easing overall cash flow stress to needing cash to scale and grow your business. The second sort of lending is traditional business lending, and it's still relevant for modern businesses. So the sorts of things that I talk about when I talk about traditional lending is bank overdraft from an actual bank, a facility that is linked to your business bank account that you can spend up and pay down, spend up and pay down for those times when your bank account may drop into a negative territory for any reason. Credit cards, a facility that's linked to your business bank account, really good for if you're able to use it for points and that sort of thing, and used when purchases by car need to be made, like travel, when staff need to make purchases on behalf of the business. And then there's secured business lending as well. A secured loan, a business loan secured, could be secured against your home or other property. So they might take a second mortgage, or if you have freehold, first mortgage over your home for a relatively short period of time, but that security will allow you to, it will put you cash into your bank account so that you can do things that can build your business for when those larger amounts of cash are needed in your business to grow or scale. And we're not talking about growing or scaling your business, and any of these areas can help. It might be things like being able to afford a new employee, moving premises into a larger premises, your traditional lending, so secured lending against asset finance and that sort of thing, could be equipment to increase your output and that sort of thing. So they're the sorts of things that traditional business lending can help. And then, asset and property. So I was coming to it anyway. I haven't looked at this slide deck recently, so beg your pardon. So this is a fully secured option. So this is where vehicle finance, plant and equipment finance come into play, where you need vehicles and don't want to tie up cash in non-current assets. Why tie up $26,000 of your own cash for a vehicle when you could finance it and get the normal tax benefits and that sort of thing available to borrow against a vehicle or assets? And there are companies, if you think that they can't finance that strange piece of equipment that sits in the corner of your factory, as an example, there are lenders out there that will lend for a lot of different things. So tangible assets, any physical asset to be used in business when you don't want to tie it up with cash. This can also mean cash back on property you may, or assets you may already have freehold over. So let's say, for argument's sake, you own that vehicle in full. I've done a deal a couple of years ago where the guy owned his vehicle in full, completely, and we were able to get a loan for him against that vehicle. It's a secured loan. Interest rate dropped a little bit, and it gives security to the finance company to know that they've actually got something that they not necessarily they can take, but it's secured against something. So if you have a vehicle, again, it depends a little bit on the age of the vehicle. You can't go stuff that's really, really old unless it's a classic, but there are lenders out there that look at that sort of lend. The reason you want to potentially research and get into the area of financing your assets or having cash flow finance or this sort of thing is to unhinder your mission. Unless you're in a high profit business, the chances are that you'll never produce enough capital to scale or grow your business without some assistance. Sensible business loans can assist in you achieving your mission. It also comes again in line with talking to your accountant, because you all should have accountants. Now, some of you might have tax accountants. I won't say the name, hopefully, but they potentially won't always know the full benefit of having a really good accountant on board. A really good accountant will look at your big picture. You look at where you could borrow, irrespective of the interest rate, but where that borrowing can assist your business. So to have this connection with a broker or with somebody who can assist you in that sort of thing, again, it comes back to unhindering your mission. Because as I said, unless you're in a high profit business, the chances are you're not going to quite make it enough to be able to scale it and scale your business well. So where can you find help? Finding the right advice and the right finance is critical to successfully growing your business. Talk to your advisory accountant or talk to a commercial finance broker. And if you ever want to get in touch with me about finance, all you have to do is drop me a line, and you can drop it. There's my capital financing details, but you can also drop me a line through inquiry@thecashclub.com.au. Thank you very much for listening to me there, and I will figure out how to stop my share. I have shared it, haven't I? There we go.
You don't need to stop it because you weren't sharing it.
Oh, what?
Okay.
I just suddenly realized that. Oh no.
It's okay, but you know your stuff, so I've written things down.
Okay.
Yeah, me too.
If you actually want the slide deck, I can provide it to you, seeing as I didn't share it. I'm so sorry about that. I'm a little bit embarrassed. Have you? And you've been telling me that I haven't been sharing. Is that why I've been hearing the bings in my ears? No.
No, well, you haven't been sharing it.
No. There you go. Because I haven't in the last few times that we've done this, Christine, I've had my faithful assistant, and unfortunately I didn't have her tonight. So that's all right. I hope
okay. I need my
information.
girls helping me do this stuff too.
What I will do though is I'll share the last of this, so I can just go very briefly. Cam 2 is there. This is the first time Cam 2 has been able to join in.
Hi everyone.
And Cam 2, each of these guys are partners, and these are the guys that are going to have an opportunity to present sometime over the next 12 months to bring value to you, the members.
Yeah.
So, but just bear with me 1 second, and I will at least try to share This one, this one, this one, this one. Oh, I really do need an assistant helping me.
Are you nominated as the host?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Sorry, bear with me 1 second. Present. Put that over there. Full screen. Got that. Go back to Zoom, and then find the full screen. Find the share screen. Here we go. There we go. Share.
Done.
We got it.
Right,
Yep.
so
Got it.
see what is the Cash Club. So quickly, the Cash Club is designed to be able to the Cash and Cash Club means cash flow and stewardship harmonised. I'll read my screen. There we go. Did you get into the business to learn about cash flow or balance sheets or P&L statements? You're great at what you do. A builder, graphic designer, lawyer, transport company owner, or a doctor. As I said, business owners wear many hats, one of which is knowing all the ins and outs of cash flow. Imagine for a minute an electrician goes to school, comes out of school at 15 or 16, and ends up having a ABN and becoming a contractor, and all his schooling teaches him how to be an electrician, but doesn't teach him anything about cash flow. He may get his hapless mother, girlfriend, wife, mother-in-law to do the books. They really don't understand it. Invoicing, paying suppliers, juggling bank accounts, or buying vehicles and equipment and leasing warehouses. They get lots of training around the technical side of his or her business, but very little training about the admin side of a business. And that's what I want to bring to businesses in the Cash Club, is all that admin, all that operation side of it. And also, I mean, yes, it's all about the Cash Club, and we've certainly got guys here that talk probably more into your personal finances, like Christine or Kevin. But the reality is that you have to have a control over your personal finances to have a really good control over your business finances. If you learn some really good principles from Kevin when it comes to investing and that sort of thing, it gives you a better mindset when handling your own business finances. So education, connection, expertise, and members' benefits. Online courses, the Ultimate Cash Flow Formula will be delivered soon. I need to put a date on that, but it'll be delivered soon. There'll also be other online courses that'll be made available through our partners, from our partners, and from other experts outside my partnership, but certainly have the expertise that can deliver valuable content. Zoom meetings, so one of these each month where you'll hear from an expert in their particular field to give his or her presentation for a good chunk of the time, so you can take notes and make some decisions and connections based on that. These guys are industry experts. They're very good at what they do, and they're hand selected. I haven't just done a blanket, you know, I need an accountant. I've actually used my own accountant. I've used my own graphic designer. I've used my own IT person. So I trust them highly. Email newsletters. We'll be getting them out twice to you a month. One with an introduction to the member, to the partner, and a tip from him, and one as a tip from around cash flow. And other benefits will be introduced as we proceed. I don't need to go through that one. And there's the details of the Cash Club. Now I can ask and have a look at any of the questions and have open up for general discussion. Does anybody want to have a chat? I will stop share though, so that I can see you all.
Hey, now can I ask 2 questions, please?
Sure.
Thanks for that presentation. you go through the invoice finance, and you mentioned that if, for example, the tradies get a job and then you go through the invoice finance, you get 80% paid straight away.
That's right.
What's happened to the remaining 20%?
So when the invoice gets paid by their client, they get the balance of the 20% then less any costs are associated with it.
Okay.
So the usual expectation, the usual process is their client ends up paying it through a central account that is controlled by the lender. The lender will give the remaining 20%. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
so
thanks.
I always recommend too, and if you think about it for yourself, or think about it for some of your own clients, always recommend that you only use invoice financing for those clients that you know you're going to get paid. So government, big organizations. The challenge is that invoice financing is not what they call non-recourse. So let's say, for argument's sake, you give it to Joe Average and Joe Average doesn't pay you, and Joe Average doesn't pay the finance company is eventually going to come back to you for what they've given you. So I always recommend that you use it for those larger clients. You know you're going to get paid. You just know that they will pay.
They take longer. Yeah.
30, 45 or 60 days. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Governments used to really beat you really bad. I've been in the motor industry I was in the motor industry for 20 odd years of my working life on the finance side of things. And the local rail company, not the current one, but the previous one, used to take 75 days to pay an invoice from a car dealer. So they would have a finance meeting in the middle of the month, and then they would pay 30 days end of the following month. So if you got your invoice in on the 16th of the month, you'd have to wait until the 15th of the following month. That's 30 days. And then they would pay 30 days at the end of the following month. So another 15 days to the next month, and then another 30 days. So yeah, 75 days to get paid. And we're talking about cars. We're talking about $20,000 vehicles. So yeah, so that's where invoice financing can help a lot.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thanks. Thanks for that. I might be able to give you a few connections in terms of the supplier, a fintech company, but I think that's outside the scope of today's presentation. So I'll come back to you about that another time.
Look, fintechs, I don't use the term fintechs because people don't necessarily understand them, but I do deal a lot with fintechs. So yeah, your connection would be very valuable. Yes.
Yeah. All right. Wonderful. Now, can I ask Christine a question?
Of course.
Okay. So Christine, with what you do, are you a buyer agent or are you more a coach?
More of a mentor. So I'm a fully qualified real estate agent on the Eastern Seaboard, Victoria, New South Wales and Queensland.
Yes.
I can be a buyer's advocate or a vendor's advocate, but I choose not to.
Okay.
I'm more of a mentor in understanding what goals you want to achieve and using property as a vehicle.
Okay, because I know that how buyer agent judge and also a coach. In your case, maybe I can come back to you, ask you about that, but I'm interested in that as well.
Yes, please. So we've connected on LinkedIn. So
yeah, that's right. I've just made a request to Kevin. I think I've done that to Wasif at another time. And Darren, you not have a LinkedIn profile or something. I try to connect with you.
Yeah, I do. Yep.
Oh, okay. So I haven't found you yet. I will. All right. Okay. So thanks, Rohan. That's all from me for now.
You can certainly find them through me as well. Cam too. So if you jump on mine, you'll find Darren in there.
Okay. All right. Wonderful.
I'm just very quickly copying my contacts into the chat, but I'm pretty sure everybody's connected with me anyway. So.
Rohan, can I just say your pixels on your presentation, would you like to have a relook at that, or did anyone have the same response that I had? The pixels were really not very good and it wasn't
pixelated a bit. Yeah.
You're talking about the video?
But no, not just video, but when some of your slides regarding the cash flow. So the graphics become very pixelated, wasn't it?
Yeah, I tried to optimize it for video, and I think if I optimize it for video, it throws out the other thing. So, who's playing piano? Who's that?
That is my son, so that I'll put it on mute now. Yeah. I might try, because I do that. The other thing too is I do that presentation out of Canva, so I may try to actually reproduce it in PowerPoint and see if it works better in PowerPoint. So
it probably will.
yeah, so it probably is because I'd optimized it for video, so that at least the video wasn't too bad. So a little bit of playing around. So anyway, all right. Well, thank you very much, all. If you want to take note of the comments, you can do that in the comments box, bottom right hand corner, the three little dots. You can copy the text if there's anything in there that you want to copy. But if you have no more questions or comments, I will officially close the meeting. But if you want to hang around for a little while and chat, you can. That's fine. But I'd like to say thank you to you all for coming.
Well, thank you very much for that.
Okay, thank you very much. And nice meeting you all. All right, you have a lovely evening. Cheers.
Thanks, Cam, too.
Okay, bye.
Good night. See ya.
Good night.
Okay.
All right, thanks all.
Good
Thanks,
night.
Christine.
Bye, Richard. Bye, Darren.
See ya.
Bye.
See ya, Christine. All right.
Thanks, Rowan. That was really good.
Thanks, Darren. Even if I didn't have the presentation up, that's all right.
But as Christine said, you know your stuff, so that's all that matters.
Yeah, yeah.
That's right.
I made a lot of notes down the side just so that I can remember what I'm talking about, but I probably tend to start reading them a bit. So I probably should do a little bit more of the bullet point side so I can at least be a little bit more natural. So anyway, that doesn't matter. It's all good.
Yep, no worries. All right. Well, we'll catch up soon.
Thank you very much. I'm probably going to send my tax to you sooner rather than later for 21. So, but we'll talk to you soon anyway.
No worries. Sounds
Thanks,
good.
Thanks, mate.
All right.
Okay, no worries.
Cheers. Bye.
See you, Wasif.
Bye-bye.
Let me